Going into Memorial Day weekend, we just wanted to take some time to reflect on the holiday, kind of use it as a reminder for what the holiday is really about. Because Glenn, I think that Americans now typically view Memorial Day as just a time to party, drink beer, go on picnics, grill out. And I think, Jason, do you find that they often get confused with Memorial Day and Veterans Day? They don't even really know what the two differences are.
Can I let's just be an average citizen here with you, because you're the only one that served in the military. One, are you offended when people say, thank you for your service?
No.
Okay, because I've heard some military guys are, they're like, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for what you haven't done.
Yeah, thank you for standing around. And the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day is really important to the military and the people who have served. Why?
Because we've been there. We've had comrades that have fallen. The focus should purely be on them. It shouldn't be on those of us that came back, because a lot of veterans that get back, there's this sense of guilt, really. There's this sense of guilt that, I made it back, they didn't. And it's actually really, really strong, especially if you're in a combat, job in the military. But that is solely for the fallen, solely for those people that came back.
Memorial Day.
Exactly. And then I think also for veterans that Memorial Day is just, I didn't even fathom this even before I actually, deployed to a combat zone. But Memorial Day has a complete different meaning when you come back. You're thinking about your buddies. You're thinking about, and maybe that's the case, and maybe that's why when people come up to a veteran on Memorial Day and they say thank you for your service, maybe that's why they get offended. Maybe that's because maybe I can kind of understand that, because in a sense, and this is weird, you kind of have a feeling of, well, I didn't serve to the best of my ability.
Wow. Or how about sorry for your loss?
Yeah, what?
Possible that too.
Yeah.
But that's, I think it's for veterans on Memorial Day. It's a time for reflection. It's a time really for almost like a mass funeral sense. You want to remember those that you weren't able to help.
So when you go to a party, a Memorial Day party, and people are just having hot dogs and nobody's talking about it, do you go still, or do you have a hard time with that? How do you deal with that as a vet?
I get that. That's just kind of like the way it is, really. Yeah. I don't really take it too hard. Now, again, I didn't really have a lot of friends that died in combat. I've got friends, and you've known them, the same friends that I have, that they were like in Ranger Battalion, and they lost a lot of friends.
A friend who lost 27.
It's completely. I'll never understand the loss and the sense of sorrow that they have. I never will. And even being able to relate somewhat to how they feel, I probably wouldn't even say anything to them on Memorial Day. Again, that's not to say anything at all to a veteran on Memorial Day. It's just, I guess, just to understand that what they're going through is a whole lot different than how you may, perceive of the holiday. It's just completely different. It's more of like a combination of kind of like a funeral and of a regret that I did not put forth. I didn't give the sacrifice that this person gave. It's hard to explain.
I interviewed a veteran a couple of years ago who explained it like this. So he said, yeah, I want, as a veteran and had friends who were killed, I want people to take that moment and say, okay, this is what the holiday's about. He goes, but the holiday's also about the reason they were willing to sacrifice, and that is
hot dogs
and parties and family and friends and freedom.
So
that still is tied with it. It's not that you shouldn't have these things. Celebrate your freedoms. That's what they would want. Their families taken care of, and then that moment of...
To recognize it.
I think I actually read a letter from a long time ago, but it was a veteran that said, if I ever die in combat, which he tragically did die in combat, but he was like, don't mourn me. In fact, on Memorial Day, crack open a couple beers. In fact, have an entire keg, and let's just celebrate, the life that we all shared together.
Yeah. Well, in that vein, I Googled Memorial Day 2018 because I wanted to see what the top results were. And I think we have a picture of it, but it was just, parties, and there it is. It's parties, traffic, and traffic. And there was one that was like, how many flight delays to expect. So so I looked at that, and then I wanted to compare to, what other countries do for a similar holiday. So I looked at then what Israel does. Do any of you know what Israel does? Okay, so I looked at what Israel does for their Memorial Day, and we have a clip. It's amazing. Take a look.
I've been
Different.
there.
Pretty
I've been
different.
there. I just landed. And I get out of the car, or I get out off the plane, and the guy who's meeting us there is like, okay, let's just all get in the car. And he keeps checking his watch. And he's like, because we were running late, and he was like, okay, everybody just get in the car. Turns on the radio, and he's kind of somber. Everybody has fought in the military there. And we're on the freeway. And the siren goes off, and he just stops in the middle of the freeway. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And he said, it's our Memorial Day. We all got out of our cars. Everybody. No one spoke. They just stood there for a minute, and then they got in the car, and the mood was different, and they talked about the importance of the military. They did in 1 minute, and then the 10 or 5 minutes afterwards, in 1 minute, they did more than we do in 24 hours.